So say what you want. I'm happily married, and I love my wife. We have a beautiful daughter, and that's how we live it.
I mean, I always have to ask, like, people are saying your wife must have been like a little bit younger when you married her. I mean, can you set this record straight?
Yes, so she was 19 when we got married. She was 18 when we started dating. So, a lot of misconception out there about a lot of people try to like twist her age online and make it seem like she was born a year earlier. She wasn't. She's 22 going on 23. And, she keeps me young and fresh. What can I say? We have a love that people don't really understand.
We all knew Marques Houston was a creep once we found out that he met and married his wife Maya Houston when she was a teenager. But baby, the things she is revealing after their divorce are just sickening. And the story got darker when he went on interviews and did a whole documentary trying to justify getting a teenage wife, saying that he was young in spirit and didn't want to deal with the bagged women his age came with.
A lot of women my age are very independent. They are very like, I don't need a man to do this for me because I could do this for myself. And I come from a generation that I'm very, very, love to provide for my wife. I love to provide for my woman. And I'm very in that generation, like the old days, I would never want to be with a woman that felt like, oh, I don't need you, or I don't, what I'm saying, like that. So, and there's a lot of women my age. I've dated women my age, and they may have baggage, they may have kids, they may have not. It's just there's so many different women that I've dated throughout my life, and this just so happened to be the one that caught my eye.
And it's fair to say that now that she's finally a bit older, she would have never gotten married to him if she knew what she was walking into. Maya has posted content on TikTok several times now alone or with their kids, but Marques never makes an appearance. She has taken down all pictures of them together, and word is that she's left Jehovah's Witness completely and is out living her best life. Marques, on the other hand, was in his feelings. He was posting heartbreak posts back-to-back on IG, including this one that says, "Maybe I am hard to love, but I love hard." We can already see Marques trying to deflect from the failure of losing his marriage and make it seem like he's just this passionate person. Meanwhile, when it was still going on, he had a lot to say about everyone just being haters. In one post, he said, "Clears throat. My biggest flex is being a man of God, being in love with the woman of my dreams, being a great husband and a great father." Shout out to all the husbands and fathers out there. It ain't easy, but we get the job done. Yet, it looks like despite getting his dream woman, very young, beautiful, no kids before him, and dependent on him, Marques still fumbled, and she'd much rather be single after the things she went through. Apparently, he was very controlling and constantly quoting the scriptures to keep her in check. And do y'all remember how their marriage started? Back in 2020, Marques and Maya got married, and immediately their relationship drew a lot of scrutiny because of their massive age gap, since she was 19 when they married, and he was pushing 40. They got engaged 5 months after Maya turned legal. And of course, people suspected that he'd been with her for longer because there's no way they met, started dating, and got engaged in a matter of weeks. However, getting married with such a massive age gap was the least creepy thing about their relationship. It turns out that Maya was reported as a missing kid after she ran away from her adopted parents' home at 15. It was believed that she left her adoptive parents' home in Oregon to find her biological mother Paula in California. But Maya completely went quiet between 2016 and 2018 and popped out when her relationship with Marques became public. The official narrative was that they met when she was 17, and Marques wanted absolutely nothing to do with her until she turned 18. But Internet Slee quickly found out that was false music, and he may have been in her life much earlier than that. Even though she was reported missing, Maya was credited as an art director for several of Chris Stokes' movies that spanned from 2016 to 2018. And for those who don't know, Chris Stokes and Marques are very close. Chris Stokes is also a Jehovah's Witness, and he might have played a big part in Marques later converting as well. Immediately, people noticed what was going on. Maya's IMDb page just went missing. It got even creepier when Marques literally pinned down a whole college essay trying to defend himself, saying, "I met Maya in 2018 through a mutual friend. Never before then did I even know she existed. The fact that she was listed on one of our films was a misprint or someone being messy." First of all, why would anyone want to be messy when Maya was practically unknown to us until her relationship with him went public? But let's continue. Maya and I didn't start dating until she was an adult. We fell in love and got engaged in March of 2019. My dad, Michael, loves her, and the people I am closest to all love her as well. Most importantly, we have Jehovah's blessing. This still doesn't explain why or how they were with someone who is legally classified as missing. Like how come nobody in Chris Stokes' family ever talk about Maya until she turned 18, even though he was a father to her? Marques, by his own admission, also said that he knew Maya when she was underage.
Me and my wife's situation is a little different, you know, how we met, you know, through mutual friends and everything like that. You know, when I met my wife, she was 17. So, you know, we had no really conversation and no really connection until, you know, she was of age. And, you know, people don't understand it. And I got a lot of backlash for marrying someone that was 19. And, you know, when we did finally start to talk, I was like, this woman is like me. And she was just like, when I would talk to her, she just, for one, we had a spiritual connection. And I feel like that's the most important thing. We both love God. We both love Jehovah. And that was key.
So he really expects us to believe that he never spoke to her, never approached her, and had no connection with her. But the minute the clock strikes 12 on her 18th birthday, all of a sudden there was this magical connection. I don't even want to get into the entire accusations against Marques and his manager Chris Stokes by former B2K band member Diario Thornton and Quentin Tarver. People were alleging that Marques might have even started communicating with Maya while she lived with her adoptive parents, which prompted her to run away. And since age gap marriages, or very young people getting married, isn't frowned upon as a Jehovah's Witness, the Stokes most likely kept her until it was okay for them to go public with their relationship. And let's not gloss over the fact that Marques Houston also took the minute to put down other women, claiming that women his age had too much baggage. Since he was still young at heart and focused on being a provider, he didn't want anyone close to his age since they were independent single mothers and would challenge anything he said.
Okay, I'm 41, right? She's 22. I could have married a 41-year-old woman and it could have been disastrous. They could have felt like, you know, because I'll sit and talk to women that are my age, and they kind of have a different outlook on life. You know, a lot of women my age are very independent. They are very like, you know, I don't need a man to do this for me because I could do this for myself. And I come from a generation that I'm very, very, you know, love to provide for my wife. I love to provide for my woman, and I'm very in that generation.
However, once they were married, Maya soon realized that Marques had just as much baggage as the women he said he didn't want to deal with. Here she was, fresh out of high school with no job or really anything to call her own, while dealing with a man that had seen the world, had major life experiences, and an established career before she came into the picture. Now, Maya knew that she was going to be a stay-at-home mother since Marques had emphasized from the get-go that he preferred to be the main provider in the family. But what she didn't know was that he wasn't just looking for a wife. He was looking for someone that would replace his mother, who he lost as a teenager. And that was a standard that Maya was never going to meet. And as she started growing older and her frontal lobe developed, Maya wanted more for herself than being his wife. Music, she started creating content on social media, attending influencer events, and meeting people outside of the Jehovah's Witness circle. She began to realize just what Marques had taken from her. And word is that she began to ask him to help her out with business and job opportunities. But Marques wasn't about to let go of the control he had, and with the help of their Jehovah's Witness friends' music, began to pressure her to remain a stay-at-home mom and focus on the twins. That's why we no longer see Maya with Chris's daughter Chrissy. Even though they claimed that the two of them were close as sisters, she had to fully step away from being Jehovah's Witness if she wanted a life of her own. And now that she's finding herself, people are hoping that other than raising their kids, she stays away from Marques completely because there's no doubt that he spent years trying to manipulate her, saying, Marques Houston is a sick ninja, buddy. Talking about he met his 17-year-old wife through mutual friends. Why the F does he have mutual friends with 17-year-olds? Marques Houston really groomed his wife when she was a minor and waited until she was 18 to make their relationship public. Some of us remember seeing him under her comments when she was 17. He's a nasty weirdo. He once said he considers single women with children to be red flags and that he would never date such a woman. Now this woman is the stereotype he said he would never say. He should have left her alone and found someone his own age. He's a creep. But what do you guys think about this? Music, sound off in the comments and make sure to like and subscribe.